Our next segment is Heisman predictions. So this obviously could change a lot from week to week. We know that. We understand that. But we're going to give our odds as of now. This is week 6 of college football. So we're going to give the odds that are present. We're going to give our predictions for right now, and what changes is what changes. But your leader at plus 100 is Alabama quarterback Bryce Young. Second in odds at plus 125, Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral. Third at plus 1,400, a big jump there from plus 125 to plus 1,400. Desmond Ridder, Cincinnati quarterback. And then this varies from site to site and that, but this is from Barstool Sportsbook, where my odds came from. And at fourth, they have Spencer Rattler at plus 1,600. So, like I said, this will vary from site to site, but if you go through and look at the stats, Bryce Young so far, 108 for 148. That's 73% passing completion, or passing percentage, completion percentage. 1,365 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Matt Corral, a little bit less on the passing, 87 for 125, 69.6%, 1,210 yards, a little bit less, 10 touchdowns, 7 less touchdowns than Bryce Young, but 0 interceptions. Desmond Ridder, 73 for 115, 63.5%, 1,045 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And here's where it gets interesting. And like I said, on some sites, Spencer Rattler's not even fourth. We was talking about that a minute ago. On some sites, him and C.J. Stroud have the same odds. But right here, you could argue Spencer Rattler has the better numbers, except for the interceptions. 122 for 160. 76.3%. 1,260 passing yards. 10 touchdowns, but 4 interceptions. So he's got 7 less touchdowns than the leader, Bryce Young. But he has 2 more interceptions. So that's what the committee will look at. But I could see this being your 4 Heisman candidates at the end of the year. And it could change. It could very well change.
Yeah, and like on top of that too, it's how many of those interceptions are really, I haven't watched him, so I don't know. I haven't seen the interceptions, but like how many can you really say are his fault? Like you could have a tip pass that, or like, a wide receiver just doesn't get it and it's a tip ball and then it gets intercepted that way. So maybe it was a good pass, it just wasn't caught, and it might not all be on his shoulders.
I know some of them were bad because Oklahoma fans have been calling for his job, but college football fans, they're like that. So it's hard to tell, but right now, if I had to pick, honestly, and it's going to come down to how the year changes, and it could very well come down to, they do the Heisman before the playoff, right?
Right. It's like, it's like right before. Yeah.
So that's not going to matter. I thought that, I was going to say maybe it could depend on who goes farther, but that's not going to even matter. I honestly think Matt Corral could steal this.
Yeah, I think he could too.
It's going to depend on who really steps up towards the end of the year, like in the last half of the year, but their stats are not that far off.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
And honestly, I think he's got the easiest shot. Like him and Bryce Young, like they come from the SEC, so they're going to be respected as SEC quarterbacks. So I think they have the better chances, really.
I think it's a 2-man race, right? I don't. I mean, you look at the odds difference. Odds don't really mean much, but it sort of does. Vegas knows what they're talking about. Plus 125 all the way to plus 1400. I mean, it's between Bryce Young and Matt Corral. So if you like from the beginning of the year, Bryce Young has been the hands down favorite, everybody's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Like after that week 1 Miami game, we never did talk about this because we wanted to save this Heisman video for later on. But if we would have done it, and I had this in the back of my mind ready to say, I was going to say, because we said we're going to give some hot takes, and we never did give them. Like we teased it, but we forgot and never did give them. Week 2 of college football, my hot take would have been, just go ahead and give the Heisman to Bryce Young, and go ahead and give the Natty to Alabama. And if you want to play the year out and see what happens, that's fine. But I think that's what'll happen. Like that would have been my hot take week 2. But now the way Ole Miss is playing, things are way different.
Mm-hmm.
So Bryce Young started out as the favorite, but I could see Corral jumping in there and grabbing the Heisman towards the end of the year.